Welcome back, Money Circle community. Hope you guys are having another awesome day. It's Rick coming back at you with an update of going from our challenge of $5 in the stock market to 1,000 as fast as I possibly can. But before I give you this update, if you're new to this page, you want to learn more about investing, how money works, or ultimately just getting a little bit better each day and building toward that wealth, make sure that you hit that subscribe button below. So if you have been watching on my Instagram, some of my TikToks and Facebook, I've been learning quite a few lessons lately. And that's really always been the theme of my investing career is I try things. Sometimes they work, sometimes they don't work. But I'm thankful for each moment because it makes me a better, more confident investor. And this challenge is turning out to be very similar, but there's also little nuances that are coming up right now that I haven't felt in a long time, and it's really making me question a lot of things, but it's also driving me right now. Like a huge fire in the pit of my stomach is like, oh, we're going to make this happen. So let me give you guys an update about the numbers right now. This is going to be a very high-level overview, because there was quite a bit of trading over the past 2 weeks or so. It has slowed down quite a bit. And then we'll talk about some of the challenges I faced and then some of the lessons that I've learned as well. Okay, so the last video, I mentioned that I was doing more of a day trading style. And what I'm doing essentially is I'm finding some of the hottest stocks at market open. I'm watching the charts of them, and then I'm choosing, should I get invested or should I not get invested? And it's been kind of 50-50, where I might catch one and I'll get 60, 70%, right? And then I'll have to sell the same day, which has led to flags and restrictions on the account, all sorts of stuff. But then there's been other ones too that I got into because the chart looked really good and the momentum looked really good, and then it reversed. And so that's where we left off last time, is with one of them reversing. So that didn't discourage me at all. I felt like the best way to complete this challenge is to ride the momentum of these daily gainers without doing a ton of research on them, basically just by reading the chart of them. And I continued that strategy with my first two stock trades on this update. So the first one I got into was a company called GlucoTrack. Now, GlucoTrack, they had a lot of momentum going into the day. I believe they were up 50% pre-market. I waited for about 15, 20 minutes after the market opened, and then I entered because the momentum was still there. Now, I got my notes here, I entered at $1.97 a share. And with these ones, what's interesting when you're playing them, you have to monitor them very closely because they're extremely volatile, meaning that at any second they can turn. So yes, it has momentum, but 15, 20 minutes from now, it may have the same type of momentum going in the opposite direction. And when I got into this trade, I wasn't watching the app at all. I just let it ride. I was like, whatever it's at the end of the day, cool, that's where it'll be at. What a mistake that was. So luckily, Robinhood will update you with your stocks and how they're doing. So I got into that stock at $1.97. About 4 hours later, Robinhood came in and said, hey, this stock is at 95 cents right now. So completely reversed and went the opposite way. So needless to say, I was like, yeah, I'm getting out of this one. So I bought it at $1.97 and I sold at 95 cents. Not great. So now I'm in desperation mode. This is where the lessons are coming in. So I hope you guys can appreciate this side of it too, because again, this is what investing is all about. I'm still very much in my emotions at this point. I want to win back that money that I just lost. So I cut my losses for the day. Obviously, with the trade restrictions, I can't do 2 or 3 trades in a day. I can only do 1. So then the very next day, I see another trade for a very modestly priced company called Ocean Biomedical. So they're up here, and I bought into them at 23 cents. Very much the same type of strategy with them. They're one of the hottest day movers of the day, and watching the chart, I was like, yep, this looks pretty solid to me. Very same thing. Got in at 23 cents, waited a couple of hours, didn't monitor it the way I should have. That's okay. And that one ended up dropping to 13 cents. So as you can see, those two trades completely wiped me out. And it really took the wind out of my sails. And I took a couple of days off after that to regroup, because I'm thinking to myself, man, this challenge, I might have just made a promise that I can't keep, right? That was the whole like mental thing. And so I gave it a couple of days and I slept on it and I didn't do any more trading. And then I thought to myself, I said, this is not the type of investor you are. As in, you're not the investor who is going to try something, fail at it, and then quit. That's not how it works. No, you're going to find a way to make it work. It's the same way I've done it with crypto. It's the same way I've done it with real estate investing. Same way I've done it with my long-term portfolio. And all of those have positive returns. So day trading is going to be very similar. Yeah, you're going to lose. I lost, again, in the short term for real estate investing. I lost in the short term for crypto. And I lost in the short term for my stock portfolio. All of those are positive now in a very big way. But I had to learn to grow through these things in order to become a better investor. So I'm thankful I took the time off that I did, because it gave me a chance to regroup and really dig in and go, I'm going to keep moving forward. I'm going to keep making this happen. So I took a couple of days off and I just did some studying. And what I decided to do was do kind of a hybrid method of, I am a long-term investor. In my stock portfolio, I always have been. So this new style of trading very quickly is not me, and that's okay. So how can I make it so I'm still getting positive gains, but I'm playing to my strength too? And so what I decided to do is I started to play earnings instead. There's a lot of companies that I've done a ton of research on. I know what their financials are, and I know when their earnings dates are coming up. So I had this kind of idea of, we're going to be looking at a lot of fourth quarter earnings from 2024 for some of the big companies in the industry and in the market right now. So why would I not play these earnings? And so that sparked my next idea. So then the idea came in that I'm going to work with the earnings reports, and then I'm going to work with 13F filing reports too. So if you're unfamiliar with 13F filing, essentially what that is it's a report that companies generate quarterly that lets their investors as well as the SEC know where they are investing their assets. So like, for instance, if NVIDIA or Google decides to buy a low cap company, like stocks in a low cap company, they have to report that to the SEC and they have to report it to their stockholders. And they do that in the form of a 13F filing. So I knew that given the circumstance and the timing, we're going to see a lot of earnings reports. We're going to see a lot of 13F filings reports. So I'm going to play those. So that led me to start looking at some of the upcoming earnings reports. And the first one that really stuck out to me was DraftKings. I knew that DraftKings, from all the rumblings I've heard, as well as some of the numbers and reports that I've heard, that they were going to have a really healthy earnings report. So I put some money into DraftKings here, and you can see how much I put in. I bought it at $46.32. This was the day before they reported their earnings. And then I held on to it for a couple of days after so I could reap the rewards of the entire momentum. I bought at $46.32 and I sold at $52.05. So that's how it started. And then I waited a little bit and I decided that I was going to figure out what was going on with the 13F filing reports. Now keep in mind that part of the last video I mentioned that I'm going to be adding $5 to the portfolio every single month just so that we can buy more shares and get there a little bit quicker. So I have the money from the DraftKings trade that I did, plus I added another $5 to the portfolio. And I decide that I'm going to play Symbotic because Symbotic, it is one of the biggest AI robotics companies right now, as far as partnerships is concerned. They have a really big partnership with Walmart, and they were doing their earnings. So I figured because of the contracts they had with Walmart, it's probably going to be a pretty safe bet. So I put the money from DraftKings into Symbotic, and I bought it at $29.83. I put a total of $4.31 into it. At the time of this recording, I'm still holding on to it, but you can see that buy here. The next one that I decided to do, and this was part of the 13F filings report, and I believe the 13F filings report, I was looking at both Google and NVIDIA. I believe this one came from NVIDIA, if I remember correctly, but they sold all of their stake in a company called Firefly AI. Now, Firefly had a lot of momentum because of the shares that NVIDIA bought. This is a solid foundation company as far as AI is concerned. They are one of the industry leaders. Unfortunately, because of the fact that NVIDIA sold all of their shares, the company took a huge hit because of that. Not a lot of investor confidence. So I figured I'm going to wait for it to go down, and then I'm going to put $5 into it, because what goes up must come down in the stock market. That's just how it goes. And this is a solid foundation company. How do I know? NVIDIA wouldn't invest into them if they weren't, right? So of course you're going to see investors sell off because, well, NVIDIA just sold off. So they don't have as much confidence as they did before. But that doesn't mean that the company's going to continue to just completely lose everything. No. Again, if they continue to innovate and they continue to grow, the stock's going to go back up to what it was before, if not higher than that. So I decided to play that to my advantage. So I bought it the day after that earnings report came out, or the 15F filings report came out. And I bought that at $10.32. And again, at the time of this recording, I'm still holding on to that. And so now the strategy's changed a little bit. I'm going to play more to my strengths. I'm going to play to what I do know right now, which might slow down progress, at least temporarily, while I learn day trading. So what this challenge has really done and what it's taught me is, number one, to try to cut out emotions. It's just money. I mean, investing is about learning lessons, and to learn lessons, you have to lose money sometimes. So I'm learning a lot about that, but then also it's pushing me to want to learn the skill of day trading. So now I'm watching educational videos on how to day trade successfully, understanding charts. I'm reading books. I'm getting with other people who do day trading and picking their brain and figuring out how to get good at it. So again, I'm treating this challenge very much like I've treated everything that I've done in my investing world, which is I'm always learning something new. I'm always getting better. I realize that I don't know what I don't know, and that's an okay thing, because a successful investor learns a lesson and continues to move forward. They don't just lose money and then go, I'm done. That's it. It doesn't work. No. What you do is you try something, you realize what works and what doesn't work, and then you just continue to do the things that do work. So right now, me playing day trading without having the necessary skills is not a winning thing, but it will be a winning thing if I learn how to day trade. So I'll just add that skill to what I'm doing, right? So very thankful for this challenge, because again, this is what's made me successful as an investor, and what will continue to make me successful as an investor is just learning, getting better, losing money because that's part of the process, but continuing to do more, I guess you could say, like learning more and trying things and, you know, kind of failing faster, if you will, so that I can figure out what does work. So I hope that makes sense, but that's how I've done everything in my investing world. Is I've tried it, and sometimes you win, sometimes you lose. In this case, I'm losing right now, and I'm okay with that, because it's building that fire inside me to go, I'm going to get better at this. And trust me, like if you take that approach toward investing, you're going to be a rocket ship and you're well on your way to wealth. Because what a lot of investors fail at is they'll invest into something, it doesn't work, and then they're like, okay, that's it. And then they don't realize why it didn't work. Like, no. Like if you really want something to work in investing, you'll figure out how to make it work. And that's what I'm learning through this is like, no, I want to learn how to day trade, so I'm going to figure out how to do it. And so this is where the portfolio is now between these two stocks. And I'm excited, guys. Like, yes, I've gone through a little bit of a struggle, but this is part of the process of becoming wealthy. So I'm cool with it. I'm excited, and I know we're going to get to this 1,000. So I want to thank you guys for supporting me in doing this. The amount of lessons I'm learning and then also the encouragement I'm getting has been spectacular. And that's the reason why this community is as amazing as it is because we're all learning, right? Every investor, no matter if you're just beginning or you've been doing this a while, you're always learning something new. So I want to thank you guys. If you are interested in learning more about finance or tracking the journey or listening to any of the podcasts that I do, make sure that you hit that subscribe button. Other than that, you guys have a great rest of your day.